All right, Team OLA, welcome back to these little series of videos on bringing your family with you down to the Chicago Marathon. Now, for the first time that we did this, probably the biggest decision was where to stay. There's a lot of things to take into account, and that's a huge decision. It can seem overwhelming. And so what I'm going to do is tell you what we choose to do, why we do it, the pros and cons, and then I'll quickly touch on a few other options that you might have available to you. So what do we as a family do? So we have the past couple of years, and we'll do it this year. We stay in Rosemont, so it's a western suburb of Chicago. It's where O'Hare Airport is. It's also where the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center is, and typically where there's a convention center, there's a lot of hotels, and that's certainly the case here. The hotels that are there, there's several of them. The prices are pretty decent, so it's not too cost prohibitive. Parking's pretty good, which is nice as far as getting in and out for the race day weekend. But also on Saturday, getting to the Mission for Mass and the meal, which we'll talk about in a different video. And the other part about it is, all those hotels are about a 5 or 10 minute walk from the Rosemont CTA or Blue Line station. So the Blue Line, part of the CTA, part of the L system. But anyway, this is on the Blue Line, which helps you get downtown, pretty conveniently, which is nice. And I think the same general thing applies to different areas where there are hotels on different lines through the L. So that's the advantage. The disadvantage, particularly from Rosemont, it is kind of a further out suburb. So it takes probably about 45 minutes on the train to get downtown. So it's depending on how patient you are. That can be just a thing to consider. But otherwise, I mean, it's a convenient way to go about things, and you're able to kind of not feel so cramped into places. Kind of the other options, staying right downtown though, there are obviously hotels, lots of them down near Grant Park. But disadvantage, there's not a ton of availability on race day weekend because people try to get them, and prices are really high. And I've never done it personally, but I would imagine driving downtown on race weekend would be an absolute nightmare. But it is super convenient if you can get a room. Other options, staying with a friend in the suburbs. Cheaper, but you are at the mercy of someone driving you around. You could Uber at places, things of that nature, but just things to take into account. And finally, and this really isn't an option for families, is staying at the Mission. It's really not an option for families because if you're under 18, you're not able to stay at the Mission. But that's just something to know about different options that people take. So those are the different options that are available to you. Again, we typically we do stay in Rosemont just for the convenience of using mass transit, using the CTA to get downtown. And as I'll talk about on race day as well, that helps you as the runner, me, get to the race, and my family to get to the cheering section, so then we can meet up again after the race. So with that, that's it for this one. And next video, we'll talk about the day before the race.